So with a atmospheric landscape or seascape, just imagine where your horizon might be in the first instance. You can draw it in before you start if you want to. I haven't drawn it in here, but for argument's sakes, I'm going to say it's 2/3 of the way up. So whatever's going on in the sky, in fact, now I'm going to make it south of halfway, so my sea is not as much as my sky. So whatever's going on in the sky is going to be reflected in the water in the opposite way. And so I'll show you what I mean. So we need plenty of water on there.
So why are you doing a landscape in
Portrait, just because I've decided to. That's all.
Okay.
I've got this drawn up in landscape, and
Oh, have you?
and we tend to do landscapes in a landscape shape. So here goes my sky. So I'm going to start at the top like this, and then I'm going to repeat it this way in the bottom. So that's the opposite. Do you see what I mean? So you just think in opposites.
That paper rolls up, eh?
Yeah. And then I'm going to go through here, because whatever's in the sky is going to float down. Now the trick here is to not get the yellow and blue mixing too much, so you end up with green. And I have to say, raw sienna is a better colour than transparent yellow for not greening, but we're not using that at the moment in class. So if you've got raw sienna in your kit, so then it's just a matter of tipping.
So that's burnt sienna that you've used.
I've used some burnt sienna in the blue mix. Bless you, Sue. So I might think, oh, that's pretty boring, just the two colours. Maybe we'll add in a little bit more, some quinacridone red. And I'll put the
Well, it has to
same
be
one.
pretty wet, doesn't it? To move
Yeah,
it all like that.
Yeah, it does. So you need lots of water, and of course you know that it's going to fade as it dries. So lots of water and cleaning up the page. And just think about what you know, where you're going to have your, and then you can give it a spray if you want to. I'll use a mister. You know, if it ends up too dark somewhere, see, so
Right.
I should have taken this off. You can see the difference in the weight of the paper though, can't you? So then, when it's wet like that, we can use a scrunched up tissue to create something in the way of some clouds. And so roll it around so you're not using a damp bit onto the top. And then do the same thing in the bottom. About the same place. So it's going to be sort of down towards the bottom here. And depending on the wetness of the paper and the character of the paper, sometimes, you know, the pigment will run back in. See, it's running back in more here than there.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb with reflections in water is that darks become lighter and lights become darker. So if you've got a white boat on the wall, sitting on the water, the white boat will look darker where the reflection is in the water. It's not as bright as the white, so it'll go grey on the water, and a dark boat will look lighter. The reflection is lighter on the water.
Tell me that again. Darks become.
Darks become lighter and lights become darker.
I think you made that up.
I think I did. So if you think about what you get in the water versus what's in the sky, it's always that little bit duller. So we've got that little bit duller look there. So that's what I'm going to do on that.
Because your horizon's still through there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll put my horizon through there. So then I'll just light flat. Unless I want to tip it more. But the more you tip it, the more green it can go. But of course water's greener than sky.
And you're okay with kind of white-ish pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can just be some
It's just light.
brightness.
If you lose all of the light, it can
Be
feel a
too
bit
much.
drab.
Yeah.
And I think with doing something like this, tipping it so that it runs horizontally is a good idea. Obviously, if you want it to go up and down, you tip it up and down, but just be mindful of that
Greening.
the greening. Yeah. So I suggest that if you're going to use this paper, take it off, because I've made a big mess of my next page. So take it off, and we just know that it is curling, but the thicker sheet won't. But I think it's good to get in a mess with a practice piece of paper. And then when this dries out later, you can use the back of it to do something else on if you want to.
Yes.
Okay?
So what did you have in the blue?
It's in I've got Indanthrene, burnt sienna, and some French ultramarine blue, and this is just yellow and red. And if you yellow, any of the reds and some yellow. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to go more moody and darker, you can make your blue more stormy dark if you want to. But it's just taking a walk on the wild side, being out of control.